What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of It's No Coincidence. And today we have Elsie with us. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm really excited to be talking to you. Like I was telling you right before we started, I really love your content.
Thank you.
I've been watching it for a while now, and your platform has just kind of like skyrocketed. I see you doing amazing interviews with people. You did one with Doechii, right?
Oh, that was not me. No.
That wasn't you? Okay.
I don't think that was me.
Okay, I did see Denzel Curry though.
Yes. That
Yes,
is
love
correct.
that, love that. I was thinking of Doechii did you tweet about Doechii or something?
Yes,
recently?
I had this big Doechii tweet that went viral very
Okay, yeah,
recently.
no, I'm excited because that comes out Friday, right?
Yes, I'm so
That
excited for that.
I've been hyping Doechii up for years. I really hope I've been waiting for a TDE project to come
Right,
out to see.
exactly.
Yeah, so have you been listening to Doechii for a
Oh,
while?
I have been listening to Doechii for a while, and just like you, I was waiting because when I heard that she got signed to TDE, it was like, okay, I know that whatever she
Yes.
puts out is gonna be like huge, but she's just been like teasing here and there. So finally, we get a project, and I'm excited for that.
Absolutely. And I did see in a tweet, I think you tweeted it today, actually, earlier today. You
Mm-hmm.
had said it was a quote, you quote tweeted somebody, and it was about how
Mm-hmm.
she's unique and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And with all of the artists and how oversaturated everything is
Mm-hmm.
nowadays, like, what do you think it takes to be unique and stand out in music nowadays? I feel like it's harder than ever.
Yes, I agree that it's harder than ever. But one thing that I feel will always be in trend is authenticity. Like,
Mm,
honestly, I feel like the audience can't tell. I keep saying this, but I don't really think the general audience that consumes music is as slow as we think. I feel like
mm,
people can spot when an artist is being authentic because there are many times. I feel like one thing about Doechii, and I'll use her as an example, and all my favorite artists, is whenever I hear their music, I feel conviction.
okay.
I feel like yes, this person really means what they're rapping. Cause sometimes or singing, cause sometimes you might hear someone singing or rapping, but like you just have
Hmm.
this feeling that I'm not sure that person even believes what they're saying. It almost sounds like they're reading off a script.
Yeah.
And I just like to hear that conviction, like in the voice and the delivery, and just speaking your through, being authentic to who you are. And I feel like Doechii just has that full on.
I definitely can agree with that for sure. I'm curious though, like when it comes to authenticity, like I feel like that means so many different things to so many people. Like, what's kind of your definition of authenticity?
That's a good question. I just feel like every individual on earth has something different to offer, has something
Okay.
unique to offer. And when I listen to someone's music, I want to be able to pinpoint something about them that is like, I want to keep coming back to you. Something that just feels
Mm,
like it's very unique to just them. You cannot get that quality when you listen to any other artist. And that's not necessarily a good or bad thing, but it's just like, this is why I want to listen to you. Because there's so many artists that make good music, but once you listen to them, you almost have this feeling of, I've heard this before. And
absolutely.
I've heard another artist do
Yeah.
this. So it almost sounds just like a cookie cutter formula. Maybe it worked for another artist, so everyone wants to kind of replicate that. But I feel like
Hmm.
authenticity is just trusting your gut, stepping outside the box, and just having this factor like that is just like unique to just you. I can only get that listening to just you, you know.
I love
Yeah,
that. How do you think? Because I feel like a lot of the time it's hard to
it
see
is.
like what we're naturally good at or what is unique about us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you do? Okay, you have a platform. You put out content all the
Yeah.
time. Are you aware of like what's uniquely you? Like, are you aware of that?
Actually, that's such a good question because I've been in this process of just like going back to the drawing board because I'm going to be very honest. Like, doing what I do, it's very easy to forget your why.
Absolutely.
It's easy to just get lost in that comparison game, especially when it has to do with the
100%.
numbers and social media. So I was actually asking myself, I'm just pulling up my notes app here. I was actually asking
Hmm.
myself a couple days ago, and I'm like, what defines my work? Like, what defines Elsie? Like, when people tune into me. And I just feel like the main reason I started this in the first place, I would see people make music content, and I'd always be like, I feel like I could do this, and I feel like I could do it better. Like that was really my thought process, and I just feel like when I listen to music, I have a very unique perspective, the way I listen to music, and I'm able to communicate that because there's a lot of people that feel the same way, but might not necessarily be able to communicate that the way I could sit in front of a camera and talk about what I like. And I feel like that is a strength of mine. And also to put that together with high quality production, because, you know, social media, you know, a lot
Yeah,
of people aren't really
you have
willing to
that for
put in the
sure.
work to like make things look high quality. Even though I've had many times I've watched content and it's like, this is good, but like if you polished this up a little bit, like
Hmm.
you take it to a next level. And that's really what I want to do. I always remind myself whenever I'm listening to a song or an album and I
Hmm.
hear like something I feel like I want to talk about this, I always remind myself like if I felt this way, no experience is like unique. Someone else
Hmm.
felt the same way. And like I make
For
my
sure.
content for the other people that listen to that song and we're like, yeah, you know what? I felt the same way. So that's why I do what I do really. And I feel
I
like
love
that's what
that.
makes me unique. Yeah.
I would agree with that take. I would agree
Yeah.
with that take. I think, you know, in a world where like social media moves like so fast and like with TikTok, everything is very casual. Like I'll be honest, the
Crazy.
content I make is casual on TikTok for sure. I make a lot of like talking head type videos, but I think being able to stand out kind of like with your high quality and then also taking your time, like something else you do that's unique that I've noticed is you will not rush to get a review out right away, which is also
No.
different. You know, that's different. And like people will wait for you because they want to hear your opinion on the reviews. And yeah, you make sure that it's, you know, thought out, good quality, all that kind of stuff. And I think people are going to trend towards that more, I feel like now. You know, I really do. I think people are wanting a little bit kind of like longer quality content now that's
Content.
more thought out. That because like so much of music conversation is just like you know, which album's better than, you know, who's selling
Yeah.
more, things
More.
like that.
Always
You
the
know,
charts and the sales.
facts. How do you think about? Because I was actually just talking to Joey Hip Hop about that. And
Yeah.
what do you? What is your take on like commentary in the music industry? Like, how do you feel about it?
I
Just
feel
like the fans and all that stuff.
I feel very strongly about it. I feel like that's one thing I feel super strongly about. I just feel like music conversation these days is not in a very good place. Music commentary is not in a good
Yeah.
place. First, and I think it's there are many reasons why that is the case. Number one, people are rushing, like the first thing you said, people don't really care about what they say. People just want to be the first to say something.
Mm-hmm.
So an album comes out, it's 30 minutes. The album has only been out for 30 minutes. They started doing this album is greater than that album. This album is
Mm-hmm.
this or that. The comparison game starts. That's one
Yeah.
thing. Number two, the language that we use around music has just, I feel like the internet, especially apps like Twitter, and honestly, unfortunately, some big creators have enabled this language of people not knowing how to describe music. I mean, people are
Yeah.
just like, oh, I heard this, it's trash. Oh, I heard this,
Yeah.
it's mid. You know, when you ask them, you're like, okay, it's trash. Fine, that's your opinion. Why? And people cannot put
They don't know how to
together
vocalize it.
they
Yeah.
cannot put together a coherent sentence to describe, okay, I didn't like the production here, or I didn't like, you know, the rhyme scheme, or I thought it was this, you know, because
Mm-hmm.
everyone has a different opinion, and I can respect that. Like you could think an album is trash, you could think an album is great, you could think an album is
Mm-hmm.
not for you, but a lot of people don't even get to that point. They just want to regurgitate whatever they've heard someone else on the internet say. And that leads me to my third point,
Yeah.
groupthink. You know, a lot of people
Ooh, it's big.
they don't have their own opinions on music. They want to be told something by their favorite curator, creator, or
Mm-hmm.
influencer, and then they begin to repeat that same thing over and over and over again. So a lot of times you find out that a music opinion isn't even if they're able to express it, it's not even their unique thought. They just took what someone else
Yeah.
said and just repeating it over and over and over again. And yeah, it's just there's just a lot of things, and that's why I really want to be a strong presence, because I just feel like we need more nuanced
Mm-hmm.
conversation about people talking about things that they like. Everyone talks about
Yeah.
everything they hate. Like
I,
Let's hear
I'm
what
big
you
on that
like.
too. I'm big on that too. I'm really big on talking. Like I'll critique things 100%, but I'm really big now on making sure I'm praising a lot of things that I think are praiseworthy and things like that.
100%.
Because yeah, everything is so negative 99% of the time.
It's
You know,
insane.
yeah, and like so many people like to talk about what they don't like more than what they do like. And I feel like, that's even it, there's even like a lot of talk around like you can't win either way when it comes to people's opinions, because it's like if you
No.
love something, then people get on you for loving it too. Like so
It's like, oh, why do
that's
you like it? And I'm like, huh?
yeah.
you
They're
know.
like, get off of them. Like you're riding.
You're
I'm
right,
like, come
exactly.
on.
That's what I'm saying. It's the language. The language we've started
Yeah,
using to talk about music is just so chaotic. I
it's
don't like
true.
it. Like,
You know, what's interesting about the conversations too is because like everything moves so fast too. It's like something will drop Friday, no one talks about it by Monday. And I follow
crazy.
somebody, I can't remember their at right now, but they're kind of like a music insider. And they were saying that there's actually a kind of like a pressure to go back to releasing on Tuesday.
I
Because
saw
it
that. I
gives,
saw that
yeah,
too.
it'll give artists from Tuesday till Sunday to like
Like a
market
whole
and have
week's.
momentum. Yeah. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense because like everyone drops on Friday and by Monday, no one's talking about anything. So that makes a lot of sense.
I feel like that's very funny to me because originally it was Tuesday. Like it
And
used
then
to be
Beyonce
Tuesday, and then
changed everything.
Beyonce came and changed everything. And now the industry is like, maybe that worked for Beyonce, but that can't work for everyone else. Maybe we just have to
Yeah.
go back. So it's pretty funny to
I think
me.
it would actually like work for indie artists better too, because
I
they'll
agree.
be able to drop like on a Wednesday or a Thursday and like still get some more momentum too. Because like I think if you're a smaller artist, you should not drop the same day as like all these big artists. I don't think you should. Like I feel like it'd be way harder to get the
To
attention in
get
the
the
spotlight.
attention. That is true.
Yeah,
But one thing I've noticed this year is I've seen a lot of artists just dropping randomly this year. Like
it's
particularly a lot
smart.
of artists just being like, my album is out on Wednesday. My album is out on Thursday morning by 10 a.m. I'm seeing a lot of artists because honestly, I'm wondering why it took so long because streaming doesn't really have rules. If you're very worried
Yeah,
about, except you're really worried about like chart
charts.
tracking, but if you're
But if you
not, if it's
that's
not a
what, yeah.
factor, just drop.
Like if you're not gonna chart, just drop whenever you want to.
Even if you're gonna chart, I mean, we've seen very special cases where an artist drops an album that has a little momentum, no one really cares that much, and then maybe 2 years after it's been out, a year after it's been out, it just has this, people just discover this album and take it to the roof. Like we're seeing that happen with
Definitely.
Chappelle Roan right now. And
Oh, is that she had like a delayed blow up off of a project?
yes, that
I noticed she just blew up out of like what seemingly was nowhere. Like I didn't hear of her one day.
But that
And then the
album
next day
dropped
she's
last
doing like
year. It dropped last
okay.
year, and it made a little like underground buzz. Like, and that's when I first heard about her, and I was like, okay, you know what, she's cool. But I didn't expect it to just become like what it is right now. I think
Yeah.
it's number 2 on Billboard. Like, that's
That's
crazy.
awesome.
Yeah.
I love when artists do like I feel like Adele was like that because I swear I heard Rolling in the Deep way before it blew up here. Like I saw like on country music TV or something. Like and then it just blew up. I was like, "Oh, that's cool." But like talking kind of about smaller artists, actually not even just smaller artists. Like when it comes to you and like interviewing people, right? Like let's start here. Who would be your dream interview?
Oh my God! I have like a wish list, but three artists are at the top of that
Okay.
list.
Let's hear it.
Number one is Kendrick Lamar. Like,
Okay.
obviously, like that is
Yeah.
like, man,
Especially this year.
man,
That'd be crazy.
man. Like honestly, I don't even like. I know it's gonna happen. I have
Yeah.
this confidence that maybe not this year, maybe not in 2 years, maybe in 5 years. Like, but I know it's gonna happen, and I'm like,
I love that.
I'm just like, yeah, dream interview. I think a second one, I really love an artist called Rema. I would love to
Okay.
interview him. I just feel like he's like changed the entire Afrobeat space, and I just feel like he's such a huge figure, and he's so young too. I would love to interview him. And I think thirdly, this is something I have to
Yeah.
really think about because let me just have a quick glance through my Spotify.
I kind of have two I would love to interview, like
Yeah.
ASAP, which would be Big
Rocky.
Sean and Tinashe. Oh, ASAP Rocky?
Is that the one?
For me?
You said Big Sean?
Oh, I said Big Sean and Tinashe.
Oh, those are
Those
good
would be my
picks.
Yeah, those would be my big two right now. Because they both, well, Big Sean's dropping Friday. Tinashe dropped, was it 2 weeks ago now?
Two
Yeah,
weeks
2 weeks
ago.
ago. So I would love to get them on here. Big Sean's my second favorite rapper of all time. Kendrick's my first. And my fans put me on Tinashe a few years ago, and I love her now. So I would love to interview them. But you said ASAP Rocky for your third?
I would say between ASAP Rocky, and I would really love to sit down and talk to Anderson .Paak. Vince Staples too is on that list too. I'd love to talk to Vince Staples too.
Vince Staples is, I feel like just doing an interview with him would be hilarious.
Right.
It would just be a great time.
That's honestly like, I feel like it will happen. Fingers crossed. So
Yeah. How'd that schoolboy interview go for you?
Man.
How was that? How was that process?
That was just like the process. Everything about it just seems, it doesn't seem real whenever I think about it.
I mean, that's a big deal. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like, whenever I think about it, I'm still super grateful that everything turned out the way it did. It was definitely unexpected from my end. I did not expect that he would want to do an interview with me and he would want to make it happen. So I just...
if you don't mind, like, how'd you end up getting it? Like, you don't have to say if you don't want to.
No, of course, because it happened in front of everyone, really. So I have a mutual on Twitter, and I think it was right after Blue Lips dropped. I was really always tweeting about the album, maybe a couple months after Blue Lips dropped. So I just constantly tweeting about the album, talking about the album. And occasionally Schoolboy Q would interact with my tweets. Like, he just maybe retweet something or like quote it. And, you know, it's social media. It's not a big deal. Sure. Like, it's just like, okay, cool. So this person, he tweets a random tweet that morning. And this person just replies under like, oh, hey, Schoolboy Q, I'd love if you could give Elsie, again, I don't know this person in real life. It's just a mutual on Twitter.
Yeah, online.
And they just speak up for me. They're like, oh, I hope you could give Elsie an interview. Like, she's a good interviewer and she's just a huge fan of your music. And when I saw it, because they tagged me in that tweet, and I was like, when I saw it, I was like, okay. I mean, if anything comes out of it, okay. But that's really nice of them because, like, it was just
for sure.
out of nowhere. You know,
that's how a lot of opportunities come around.
Out of nowhere, you know.
Yeah.
And Schoolboy Q, like, just posts a tweet and he's like, oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I've been seeing her tweet. She's been going hard for the album. And at that point, I was just like, okay, this is cool. But, like, how is this still going to happen? You never know.
Like, you never know.
You never know. Because, like, an artist could say one thing, like, on the timeline. And then when it reaches to actually make it happen, it never. Like, so I was just like, I saw that tweet and I was like, oh my God. Like, I was excited, but I didn't want to just get my hopes too high. And then just like an hour later, he just DMs me out of nowhere. So he was just like, let's get it done. And I was shocked. Like, I was just like, I told him, I'm just like, okay, can you just give me a date, location? I don't live in LA, but I will be there. Like, just give me a day and a time. And we worked it out over a 2-week process, and then I flew out to LA with my team, and we just got it done. It's still so surreal, you know? But it was really cool meeting him and meeting his team and everything,
That's amazing. Yeah. What do you feel like is one thing you took away from that experience that you're going to, like, keep with you forever?
Oh, that's a very good question. A few things. Firstly, like, man, it taught me that fear is a good feeling sometimes. Like, when you feel, because, like, I remember driving up to, like, the house where we're going to do the interview, and I just felt, like, anxiety, and I felt fear. But it was a good fear, because it's, like, I'm scared to mess up, but, like, I know that this is just a great opportunity. So sometimes just fear just means you're going in the right direction sometimes, you know. Number 2, meeting him. He is super humble. Like, he came in, because I've met a few artists, and some people are not, like, they're not humble at all. Like, they just come in, but, like, he he shook hands with everybody in the room, from the
Oh, that's nice.
videographers to the sound people. Like, he was super chill. Afterwards, like, I had my team and some of my friends, they played their music for him. He listened. Like,
Oh,
he
wow.
was just super humble, and it just taught me, like, keep your head on humble, like, no matter
Mm-hmm.
how big you are, to be honest, like,
Mm-hmm.
just be humble. Just seeing that, I think that's one thing I take away from that, because he was just incredibly humble and down to earth. Like, I don't even have a huge interview resume behind me, but
Mm-hmm.
like, he treated me with like the utmost respect, and like,
Yeah, I see
I
him like
respect
shouting you
that.
out like multiple times after that. I've seen, was it another time someone else like was wishing for you to do an interview or something that he quote tweeted it and then he
Right?
was
It
like,
was
"Yeah, make
Vince.
sure you do it with
Yeah, I
her."
was so shocked. Like,
It's
it was
like,
Vince Staples. I'm like, okay, you know.
"Oh, that was Vince. Okay,
That
that's
was
fire."
Vince. That was fire, and he's been really cool. Like, even when he had his show in DC, like, I hit him up
Mhm.
and I was like, could I please just get like, could I get access? You know, I want to
Yeah,
come in there with my friend. And he was like, yeah, sure. Like,
that's
I
so
got you
cool.
access. So he's been pretty cool and supportive, and I'm just appreciative, because he doesn't need to do all that, but he
No, definitely.
doesn't.
Yeah,
I
that's
I
awesome
respect it.
that he's that
Yeah.
grounded and everything. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because yeah, they always say like never meet your idols and all that because you don't want to,
I was
you know,
terrified of
and
that. Like, that was my fear. I'm
yeah.
like, what if I get there and he's just like this asshole, and I'm just like, oh my god.
That'll just be the worst. I know it's gonna happen to me eventually, and I don't want it to happen, but
Right?
I know it's going to. But like that's a big step for you. And like
It
when it
was.
comes to your platform, like what vision do you have for it? Like what do you want it to turn into? Do you know, or are you kind of just going with the flow? I mean, you seem to be like kind of a thought out, planning kind of person.
I come off that way, but like, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the case at
No, you're
all.
just
It's
going with the flow.
not the case. Like, I'm
Okay.
not a go with the flow type of person. But one thing that I've learned this year, and I'd say also the Q interview taught me, it's like, you just never know. The day before, I would have never
Mm-hmm.
known that I would be. If someone had told me at the start of 2024, you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
interview Schoolboy Q this year, I'm gonna be like, oh, bruh, shut
Yeah,
up. Like, what are you talking about? Because it didn't make sense trajectory wise.
I
Like,
got you.
it
So
didn't
kind of
make
just like
any sense.
leaving the
Yeah,
unknown, like leaving yourself open to like
that's
those
really
type of
it.
opportunity. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
so my motto and how I do my things now is always be prepared for a good opportunity. That's all it is. Like, I just have to always be prepared, because anything could come out of nowhere. And if you're waiting to the point, if I'm making plans in my head and I'm like, oh, I want to be ready before this happens, you're never ready. That's just the truth. You will never
True.
be ready. So, like, just
Yeah.
always be prepared for a good opportunity. That is my motto. So even if today Kendrick tells me wants me to interview him by Friday, we'll make it
Mm-hmm.
happen.
You're gonna make it happen.
That's just it.
Yo.
So yeah.
Hey, the Kendrick interview, that's a dream right there. That'd be amazing
A
to see.
dream, a
I'd
dream.
love to watch you do that. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Like because even outside of like when Speedy just got that interview with
That was so
Biden, I
cool.
was like,
I
what?
was
I was
like,
like, whoa,
what?
yeah. I was like, go Speedy, my goodness.
I think that was
Um,
everyone's reaction. Like, whoa.
yeah, like I was like, okay, get put on the map even more. That's
Right?
wild. Okay, so you were talking about your team and like how they were helping you out. How do you feel like you have? Hold on, how do I want to frame this question? Like with the environment you have around you, how do you feel like they help you, and how do you keep your environment around you like positive, if you will?
It's a good question. Wow. These questions are really good.
Thank you.
One thing I want to say is that I don't have like a team in the traditional sense.
Hmm.
But I have a very good support system around
Okay.
me. That's one thing I want
Hmm.
to just say. I have a great support system. People that are not even like formally part of a team of sorts, but I just have
Hmm.
such a great support system. My friends, my family, they just all just feed into me very positively.
Yeah.
Always kind of keep me grounded, because I'm not gonna lie, this is not easy, and there's times
Hmm.
that shit has gotten to me. Like, there are times
Yeah.
where I just feel like, can I even do this? Am I even capable? And you start to really question, like, why did I even start this in the first place? What's the deal?
Hmm.
And those people help to remind me every time, like, this is why you started, this is what you're capable of, turn off the noise, drown out the noise, and just do what you know how to do. You know,
Yeah.
so I'm very grateful for that because I realize not a lot of people, you know, have that.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful. Like my editor in particular, oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
like I enjoy working with him in particular because he just I love when you only need to tell people something once and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
they just see your vision, you know, they just know what you want to do. So
That's nice for
I'm
sure.
blessed. It's a very informal thing. I'm still working on building. I know eventually I would need like a team in the traditional sense of things,
Mm-hmm.
but for now I'm okay with what I have. It's working for me. So yeah.
Definitely working for sure. Absolutely. So like okay, when you're talking about like building out your team like in the future, like what does that kind of vision look like for you? Like do you have
Yeah.
any type of idea of um like if you had to like pick one role of a person you think would kind of take you to the next level, what would that be? What would that position be?
Honestly, I just want it. I don't feel like there's a name for the position. I
Mhm.
just feel like I would just want someone in my circle
Mhm.
that 1,000,000% believes in me, like even more than I believe in
Mm.
myself. I feel like even if that person isn't like the most connected person, but when someone genuinely believes in you and they're willing to like work with you to like bring your ideas to life,
Mhm.
those are the people that I want around me. People that are equally passionate about music, people that are
Mhm.
equally passionate about, you know, the culture and preserving that and communicating that. Eventually, what I see for myself is just having multiple platforms of like something that could stand alone without Elsie really being at the forefront.
Mm.
Right
Yeah.
now, I'm really at the forefront and I'm good with that. I want to build my name before building something out of that. I think that's
Mhm.
what makes more sense for me. But eventually, I really want to just have this community of like music lovers. And I've started step one with my Twitter,
Mhm.
which is I have a community on there. It has
Yeah, you
two
do.
thousand members. Like that doesn't even make any
That
sense
happened
to me.
fast.
Like I'm just like
Yeah.
what? Like honestly, when I made that community and I started seeing the
Mhm.
numbers, I'm like, what? There's no
Yeah, that
way.
was
Like
I joined it.
it's still
I'm in there.
it still trips me out. I'm like, oh my God, but I have a vision for that. This year has just been super busy, but I know that
Yeah.
when I kick into gear to start the
Mhm.
vision I want for even that group, that collective, it's gonna be amazing. So yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. You know, okay, so we've been talking for almost half an hour, and
Yeah.
something that I've picked up is you keep talking about belief and confidence. Like even when you were talking about early, like at the very beginning, about when we were talking about Dochi and like what makes you stand out is kind of having that authenticity, that confidence in yourself. When you were just talking about your team, you said the most important quality is they believe in you, and once again, basically like have that confidence. Like, what is it about just having that confidence that like where did that come from? Like is that something that was instilled in you early? Is it something that you built up over time? Like that importance of confidence and
I
belief in yourself.
I feel like it was built in me early, but I had to be like this to survive basically.
Mm,
I haven't really been it's life has not really been easy for me. Like when
mm-hmm.
we talk about it, like I'm an immigrant living in Canada. I came here all by myself as a
Oh wow.
teenager, you
Oh
know,
wow. Okay.
without anyone here with me. So I had to grow up really fast and just like taking everything and like really start to make adult decisions when I was still a teenager. And really, I feel like being in this community and being in somewhere entirely new that's so foreign from where you grew up and what you
Mm-hmm.
know to be normal. And just being a black woman also, you have to have that confidence because
Mm-hmm.
the world is gonna tell you that you're not capable. And in real life, it's not even that difficult, but on the internet, like
Yeah, that's another
on
ball
the
game for
internet it's
sure.
another ball game. And like once people could spot that you don't have that confidence, they're gonna do
Mm-hmm.
everything to tear you down.
Mm,
I've had moments where people's comments in the past or people's thoughts about my platform. I mean, me making TikTok was an act
mm-hmm.
of confidence. Like when I first started out, I would have
Mm-hmm.
people that I know in real life be like, "Oh my God, like what does she think she's gonna do with this?" Like
Wow.
I'd
Okay.
have
Okay.
people talk down on it. Like when I just started, when I had maybe 800 followers on there now, just talk about music. I'd have people that would shut it down, like right in front of me. Like, what do you think you think you're gonna start doing artist interviews? Like even last year when I went and started doing artist interviews, I have so many people I spoke to, teams of artists, people. No one believed I was capable. Everyone was like, maybe, but they always said, oh, we don't really think you're good enough. We don't really think, and I've had that said to me a million times on a weekly basis. I don't really think you're a right fit. I don't really think you're good enough. I don't really think you're capable. So, like, for me, that self belief is so important because the world is, if you're waiting for the world to believe in you before you get anything done, like, you're wasting your time because that validation, even if it's here today, it's fickle. It's gone tomorrow. The internet changes its mind every few seconds. So to me, I just need to have that confidence in myself. Once I have that confidence in myself, I don't need validation from even a good audience, because sometimes when too many people hype you up, you get lost in the sauce. Like you just get lost in thinking you're too good, So I just have that self-belief. It doesn't mean I'm perfect. It doesn't mean I'm where I'm supposed to be, but I just have this belief that I could do anything. It's just you just need to put in the work and stay steady. Like my current reality is a dream for me. Like the reality that I'm currently living in, like I wake up every day and I'm like, wow, this is my life.
Beautiful.
And 2 years ago I would have never believed that this is where I would be. I went to university, I studied computer science. I hated it from start to finish. And I remember my final year when everyone was getting like internships, like, oh, I got an internship at Google. Oh, I got an internship at Microsoft. I was just sitting there like, what am I going to do with my life? Because I did not like computer science. I was like, God, like, bruh, I used to cry every day because I was like, what is my life going to be?
100%.
So like now, if just by sheer like belief and willpower, I'm here, like, nah. Like,
so where was the shift of, okay, because like you said, a couple years ago, you didn't see yourself. You didn't, you wouldn't have believed where you were now.
No.
And then you're saying you do face a lot of scrutiny of people telling you like you can't do this, you can't do this. So like where was that shift of like how was that confidence built? Like I'm really curious in that because like for multiple reasons, I feel like my like self-worth, if you will, it's a roller coaster for me. Yeah. So like what was your process in that for you to like truly believe in yourself to where it's like no matter what anybody's telling you, like you still have that motivation and inspiration to like move forward?
I feel like for me, and maybe this might not work for everyone, but my fear of not reaching my potential, my fear of not getting there is much larger than the fear of what other people are going to think. Like, it's much larger. Because honestly, I'm afraid sometimes. Like, when I'm making content, I'm like, I hope this will be well received, I hope because the internet, they could pick one sentence and just misconstrue it and just
that's like their job. Yeah.
So I have fear. Like, I'm not even going to front that, like, I'm fearless completely. I have that fear. But then my fear of, like, not reaching that potential, because I keep wondering, like, what if I had not posted about like Schoolboy Q? What if I had not just been posting about the album? I did not know that he was seeing these posts. What if I didn't do that? I was like, it might be too much. People would think I'm just a super fan. I would have never gotten that opportunity, And every single time I have a big company reach out to me, I get on a big call and I talk with Spotify or I talk with Colors. They just be like, oh, I watched this video of yours. And it'd be one random ass video that I did not even like care about. And I'm like, so to me, it's just like that fear of failure is way more than the fear of what anyone else thinks. And one day you wake up and you just have to be like, one day you just wake up and stop feeling sorry for yourself. Like there are moments I feel sorry for myself, but one day you have to wake up and be like, yeah, no more.
I hear you.
Just didn't work.
There is I guess a through line here of like and I want other people to know this, like whether they're doing content creation or something else, like you never really know like what's going to like take you to another level or like what's going to work or whatever. Because like in one of my other interviews with Simone Umba, like she was saying one of her biggest brand deals just came from a video that had like 400 views on TikTok that someone happened to see. And then you're saying yours was really random. And then even like with me, like one of my biggest video that led to like my biggest growth on TikTok recently was just like I just randomly made this video about Kamala Harris, and I'm never talking politics on it. You know, and it got like 5 million views, and it like I gained like a ton, like 20% more followers and stuff. Yeah, and it was just like it was huge. So yeah, like you just whether it's content creation or anything else, like if you're feeling like inspired or like you want to say something or do something, like definitely try it out. And like even like what you were saying with like computer science, like when I went to college, I was in for like business admin or something, but I hated it. And I have like 2 older brothers who had already graduated college. So I was like, yo, I don't know what to do. Like I'm looking through all these majors and I'm like, I don't like any of these. Like I like writing, but I feel like I can't get a job, you know, so I don't know. But then my brother's like, just do the creative writing track. And it was like the best decision I ever made in my life, like with schooling. And yeah, because like I loved my creative writing, all the classes I took in college. So then I liked going to college, graduated with that. So sometimes you got to take that leap.
Sometimes you got to take that leap.
Even if it makes no sense to you, like in the moment, like you gotta like have that faith and that trust.
Sometimes you just gotta go with your gut. Like sometimes just like block out the noise and just go with that gut feeling. And
definitely.
Pretty much.
And so, okay, still on this topic a little bit, like say you do get that bad feedback or you get some hate tweets or this and that and the third. What does like self-care look like for you? But not even just like mentally, but like physically too. Like how do you take care of yourself? I guess that even goes past like hate tweets and all that. Just like in general, like how you take care of yourself. What's that look like?
I want to give an example. Last year I made a video when Drake dropped For All the Dogs. And I made a video last year, and I
remember this.
Yeah, I remember, and honestly, I thought nothing of that video. I was just like, you know what? It's how I'm feeling. And I just recorded the video, gave my thoughts on why I didn't like the album, why I didn't think it was great. And I posted it. And the first 1 hour or so, nothing was, like, there was the occasional shut up, but it was just like, with random people on the internet. I was like, whatever, you know. Most people were agreeing with me, and I was like, you know what, it's whatever. And the video had like, let's say 4,000 views. And I remember that night, my phone starts blowing up. Like my friend calls me and she's like, yo, can you just go check Drake's story right now?
That was crazy.
And I'm like, are you joking? Like, is this a joke? Initially, I was excited. I'm like, oh my God, Drake's story. Then I was like, wait, oh my God, Drake's story.
Wait, they didn't tell you it was like...
No. You know, so I don't know.
You weren't ready.
I wasn't really, I don't know. My mind didn't go to that. It would be that negative. Because honestly, I've made like 3 videos in the past, like, propping up Drake, like the music that he's put out in the past. I did a whole YouTube video on Take Care and why it was probably one of the most iconic albums that came out the year it came out. So I was thinking he saw something positive that I spoke about when I went on his and he's so petty. I went on his Instagram story and I saw he screenshotted the part where I wrote like, it's a no for me. And like he screenshotted that exact part and he's like, thanks Elsie, put like a heart emoji or something. And that was the worst cyberbullying like I've experienced in my entire life. Like people, my TikTok comments, people were just coming to say horrible things about me. Like from the way I talked to the way I looked to everything, like my race, my complexion, people sent me emails, which to me is so crazy. Because it's one thing to like leave a comment on a video. It's another thing to like start like, you know, emailing me, sending me messages, threatening to like dox me. And I'm like, who are you threatening to dox? Like, I'm on the internet. I work for myself, so I don't know what you're trying to do. But like people were like threatening to like find my family on the bruh. It was insane.
I've had that. Yeah, that stuff's scary for real.
It was insane.
That's happened to me before.
Like I was just like, it's not.
I don't like that.
It's not this deep.
Over a review too.
And the funny thing is that video, I kept it. One thing I don't like to do, I don't really like to talk about artists' personal lives. That's really not my business, to be honest. So I kept the review very music focused. It was just about the music and why I didn't like the music. So I was wondering why people would get that like crazy over a review. So that really shook me up in a way that has never shaken me up before, because it didn't just end that day. Like,
lasted a while.
It lasted like a few weeks, you know. People were just like going so crazy, and I'm just like, what, you know?
Damn, I'm sorry that happened, because
you know, honestly,
I have personal experience with that too, and it's not fun.
Blessing in disguise. I'm so sorry. Like, to me, I still see it as a blessing in disguise. I honestly believe that one day I'm gonna sit down and have a conversation with Drake that this happened. Like, I feel like it's gonna happen, because I'm a fan of his music. Like, I'm a fan of his work. But yeah, so that really taught me, number one, whenever I feel like sometimes the comments start getting to your head, good or bad. Like, and the moment I notice that it's really occupying a lot of my mental space, even when I'm not on the internet, like maybe I'm making dinner and I'm thinking about something that someone said online, like I leave. Like, I literally just delete all the social media apps.
Oh, wow.
And step aside.
Okay.
I did that very recently because, like, Twitter was just getting to a point where it was just doing too much. Yeah. And I took, like, a week off. I just logged out, deleted the app. I'm like, everything's going to be here when I come back. Like, not a big deal. So, to me, you always have to know when to take that step back and just take care of yourself. Number two, whenever a post of mine goes viral, I'm so sorry, I don't read the comments anymore. I don't
either. Even if it's for something good. Like, I don't read them anymore.
Occasionally, if someone, like, tags me specifically and it's, like, a good thing, I reply. But nowadays, I don't even bother.
Like, on Twitter specifically, I mute it.
Oh, that one? Twitter's mute button is really, like, it's very effective. Like, once it starts getting... I just mute. I don't even want to hear what you guys are talking about anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
like,
even
it's just too much.
It's too much. And honestly... Yeah, I always tell people, like, that just taught me, because before that Drake thing happened, I used to read, like, all my comments, like, because they were largely positive. Like, I'd wake up in the morning, I'd scroll through the comments, but these days, nah, I don't do that anymore.
I feel like you hit, like, kind of going back to what you were saying earlier about, like, being a black woman in the struggles of that. Like, I feel like Drake's audience has... There's a large section of his audience that's been like red pilled.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like you ran into that.
Yes, exactly. It was crazy. Like,
yeah.
I was like, how are you guys comfortable saying this to a stranger?
It's unbelievable to me.
What?
Like, the most recent thing that's happened with to me was I did a review on that Eminem Houdini video. I didn't like it. I actually turned my comments off on TikTok. God. And then they were going to my other videos.
That's what they do to try and comment. I'm like,
I was like, come on, man. Like, y'all, this is ridiculous.
It's not that deep.
I didn't even say anything crazy either, like you're saying. Like, I wasn't even like super disrespectful or nothing. But it's like, people don't care.
People don't care. And because they could hide behind like anonymous accounts. They know that they're not going to be held responsible for whatever trash they say, so they just feel more confident to like talk shit on the internet. So these days, even if it's good, like you're propping me up, like anonymous account, I'm not interested. Thank you so much. Like,
hey, true. That's also like something else I've been doing, like on Twitter and stuff. It's like, I don't even engage in conversation unless the person I'm replying to is like a real person.
Like,
right? With the profile picture or whatever. Like, right? I need to make sure you're real. Cause
you see someone's page is like, like lady 1 2 3 4 5 6. That's your handle. Like,
block.
It's not about
that
you.
Block button is heavy for me nowadays. I press it all the time. But okay, something else kind of, since you were talking about reviews and all this kind of stuff. what do you do? Like, do you have a process, or is it something just kind of like organic and natural of like gaining musical knowledge? Because kind of even going back to what you were saying way at the beginning, as far as like people not being able to vocalize what they like or dislike, like how do you learn that?
First thing, listen to the actual music. That's what I'm gonna say.
True.
Like, take time and listen. Like, sit with. That's what I'm saying. Like, there are many times when the first listen. Like, for example, when Blue Lips came out that evening, I remember it was so busy, and then I listened to the album very passively. I was just making dinner, taking a shower, just put the music on. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool. And then when I sat down and I was like, okay, I want to listen to this album. Like, I sat down and I really was able to take it in and be like, ooh, okay, I really like what I hear. So first step, really listen, because there are some people that when they talk about the music, I'm like, you didn't listen. Yeah. I could tell that you didn't listen. I could tell that maybe you heard some snippets online and maybe you skimmed through the album, maybe played 2 or 3 tracks and formed an opinion, but really listen. Because when you really listen, you will get something, especially when one thing about music is that music is so connected. One thing I used to love listening to artists like Kanye, and when I would hear the samples, because I'm a very huge, like, I love production. I'm a production nerd. Whenever I hear the samples, I'll be like, oh my God, I want to know where that came from, you know? Yeah. And then I go back and do a search and get like the soul track or jazz track that was sampled. And when you really just take your time to listen to music and just really take it in, it's a whole different experience. Like, and the more you listen, the more you're able to find points that connect to other points.
Yeah,
and it's just,
for sure.
That's really all I'd say. Like, just really listen. Like, yeah.
So, like, when you're talking about going back to samples, like, you'll go back and you'll listen to, like, the original song?
Yeah, the
like,
original song.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I want to know, like, oh my God, like, how did they chop this? You know, when I'd hear Dilla, that's a big one. Like, I'd be like, I want to know the song that he sampled from this. So I'd go back to, like, look for it. And it made me really fall in love with, like, 70s soul because of hip-hop.
Wow.
Like, I just keep going back. So yeah,
that's awesome. No, that reminds me of, I was like on Discord, my Discord, and I can't remember what question I asked my people in there, but they told me like they go on Wikipedia and they'll just like look up whatever article and then like click through all like the hyperlinks on there to like learn about the whole thing. I was like, that's kind of interesting.
That's really interesting. Honestly, it depends.
I might start doing that.
Honestly, sometimes you really want that context. Sometimes Genius is a good tool, although not everything is confirmed on Genius. So be careful with that. But sometimes Genius is a really good tool, especially if I want to go read the lyrics. Like, what is the artist even saying? Because a lot of times I'm so production heavy. I don't hear lyrics on like first 2 listens. Like, I barely hear it. Like, I only hear like the flow, like the cadence of like the singing or rapping. But like, I have to be on 3rd listen before I'm like, all right, let me really take in, like, what is this person really saying? And then I maybe go to Genius, look it up. And yeah, because I remember like when Kendrick dropped Good Kid, Mad City, back then I did not, like, the way we use phones nowadays and social media, it was not a thing. I did not have a phone per se, but I had a laptop. So I would go on, like, I'd go to this website. It's called A to Z Lyrics or something of that sort.
Yeah, A to Z Lyrics.
I'd go on it and I'd write out the lyrics in my notebooks. Like, I'd write it out so I could spend time, like, when I didn't have access to, like, the music, I'd be able to, like, read. Because now we have Spotify and Apple Music just showing you the lyrics. Back then, you actually had to go search for the lyrics.
I used to do that when I was like a kid to like remember the lyrics. I would like
I
write
used
them all
to
down.
write it all down. Like, bruh, my high school notebooks full of lyrics. Like, I just used to write it down all the time.
That's awesome. So, yeah. You know, you were talking about like understanding lyrics and Genius and all that. I do have to say, so partially what blew me up as a content creator at the very, very, very beginning is like I would like dissect lyrics and everything, right? And like I said, I went to college for creative writing. Something
gives you an edge.
There's something I stopped completely though, because there was like one thing I could not stand with going back to how the fans like interact with things and like conversations and stuff, fans are always trying to figure out what an artist means definitively. And I feel like when you're breaking down lyrics, it's more of like a process of it could mean this, it could mean that.
And
like
that's so important.
yeah.
Because
And
even
I don't
when,
believe in reaching. I don't believe in it. Like unless it's like so outlandish, like it like I'm just a big believer of not shutting down like any idea, because I think it's because like when I did go to college, it was like when we're like reading these classic texts and all this, the idea is like as a reader, this is what I'm getting.
You can
and
interpret it in many different ways, you know.
Exactly.
It's
And it
up
was
to
more
you.
like incentivized to like be like try to find multiple different interpretations rather than like trying to find the interpretation.
one, you know.
And so, yeah, it's just, I just wanted to say, I was thinking,
I agree with you, because there's
I don't
sometimes
like
that people have asked artists in a lot of videos, especially I watch a lot of interview videos because I want to just like learn to be a better interviewer. And I've had times where the interviewer has asked the artist like, so in this song, you know, were you talking about this? And the artist would be like, no, I wasn't talking about this. And like, you find out that that's been a speculation, you know, for the longest time. To me, like even when I did a whole breakdown with, I did a whole breakdown last year, Pyramids by Frank Ocean. The video hit 100K on YouTube. I did not expect that. But then I made sure like to be like, this could mean this, or it could mean that. Like I wasn't saying this is exactly what Frank Ocean meant. Like even at the end, I asked the people, like I threw an open-ended question, like, what do you think it could mean? Because like sometimes you don't want to come from a know-it-all like angle. You just want to come from like, I want to talk about this. I want to open
it's
conversation.
like a discovery. It's like an exploration.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's the part that I loved, but it was like nobody really wanted that.
So I'm saying.
Like people were taking my explanations and they were taking my videos and cropping them and like saying like kind of using it for bragging rights of like the different artists. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, like my favorite art. You see this triple entendre they did? And I was like, I don't know. I wasn't really going for that. So I like stopped doing. I stopped doing. I didn't like what people were doing with my content. I didn't like it. Has that ever happened? Like, have you ever been affected by like how people were using your content, and like have you ever like shifted or like done anything? Like,
to be honest, first of all, when I first started videos, I didn't used to show my face a lot. Like I would just like cut in like music videos of like, it'll be very artist focused. I barely used to show my face. I'll just narrate, like I'll just talk. And I'd find out that platforms would just take it.
Oh, they were just stealing it.
Yeah, they just put their watermark like on it, and like people be like, "Wow, what a great video!" And like I'll just be like, "Huh?" So when that happened like 3 times, I was like, "Nah, I have to start actually like showing who I am." So I made a very conscious choice. Like I was like, I gotta get in front of that camera. Like I gotta get in front of that camera. So
well, that worked out well.
So
that worked out well.
And honestly, also I started kind of doing what you did, just to be like, I'm leaving this open for interpretation, because honestly, I used to also, I used to do videos on just dissecting artists' songs and their sounds, and there'd always be that one person in the comments, that's actually not what the artist meant. This, that, then like they just like, I'll just be like, well, what are you guys fighting over?
Yeah.
Like in the comments, you know, they be fighting in your comments for days. You're like, bruh, you're in someone else's comment section. Why are you fighting? Why are you fighting in here for days? You know?
Facts.
So yeah.
Facts. You know, I've been asking this this is going to be, I think, I'm deciding this right now, like a running question in all of my podcasts, because I'm loving the answer so far. So when it comes to either kind of like yourself or your career, one or the other, what's something you've invested in that's just like been amazing for you?
Oh, okay, that's a good one. I would say, are you talking? Okay, so a few things. First of all, a very good microphone, of course. Like a tripod. Yeah. Life-changing.
Yeah.
But one thing I'd say is subscriptions, man. Like, subscriptions are really good. Like, first of all, one thing I'm going to say as someone that consumes a lot of music, YouTube Premium is worth it. I'm sorry.
I just have it for the like no ads.
It
like
is,
I've had it for years.
it's worth it because I like to go through music videos. I like to read comment sections, kind of see what the fans are thinking. Just do all that really quickly. Canva has been a great tool for me.
Oh yeah.
Just kind of just learning how to like throw it into design, Photoshop as well. An app that I do most of my editing with. It's a paid app, Splice. So a lot of like a lot of my subscriptions matter.
They do. There's a lot of good stuff out
There's
there.
A lot of good stuff, and like a lot of people are like, I don't want to pay the fee, but like if you go through the shortcuts, the work might not look as good.
I just see it as a business expense.
That's basically what it is for me. That's what
Absolutely.
it is for me. Like, and honestly, also just investing in good quality work. Like whenever I'm doing an interview, especially when I'm doing the longer form ones, like I get a videographer, like I get someone that can handle that. Like I have an editor sometimes, because the truth is, the bigger you become, the way harder it's gonna be for you to just do everything by yourself. It's just the truth.
Wearing a lot of hats is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I believe in that delegation 100%. Like as soon as you can, like I think you should. Like unless it's something like you personally want to see over yourself.
Yeah.
But you know, if you notice like you have a weakness here or there or whatever, like hire the people that are better at it than you are. You know, so like if you can,
subscriptions matter though. I'll say that.
Oh yeah. I feel like they save a lot of time. They give better quality. You know, absolutely. I'm nothing without my subscription. One of my favorite ones for YouTube is vidIQ. I love that.
What's that one? I don't think I've heard of it.
So it's kind of expensive, but so basically it like has all the like analytics for your channel, but it also gives you content recommendations based on how your other videos are performing and your competitors are doing, and then it also helps with hashtags. And it's not like the other apps that it's the best hashtag generator thing I've seen that helps out.
vidIQ. Okay.
It's really solid. I would check it out at least because I think they have a free trial.
I'm gonna
so
write it. I'm gonna write it
trial.
down. Yeah, I want to see what that's about. Yeah,
love that. But yeah, okay. Last question. Okay, what's something you believe about yourself that you wish other people also believed about themselves?
Something I believe about myself. It might sound cliche, but like you are truly capable of anything. That like honestly, I genuinely believe that, and I just believe that like as far as you're authentic, because a lot of people try to copy other people's formulas. It might not work out for you that way. Sorry. It might work out, might not work out, but I believe that you can really be anything you want to be. I really believe that. Like, and the journey might not look like what you expect, but I believe that you could be anything you want to be. And I wish a lot more people just believe that about themselves. You know, sometimes I'd see like creators that were doing so well, and I'm like, well, what happened to this person? I haven't seen them. And then I go to their page and I see they haven't posted in a year. And I'm like, imagine what you could be. Because the time is going to fly anyways.
Yeah.
The time is going to go by anyway. Whether you do it or not, time is not waiting. It's not stopping. So I honestly believe that you could just be anything you want to be, to be honest. Because like I've seen it play out real time for me in my life. A lot of things that I would have never believed, like I've seen them literally just come to fruition. But I had to fight for it. It doesn't mean like it'll just come and you be like,
magically happen.
Magic.
Yeah.
Nah. Like I've had nights I've cried pushing for opportunities and everything. But if you want it that badly, it will be yours. That's what I believe. Yeah.
You know, that reminds me of Seth Rogen was doing an interview, and the interviewer asked him something about actors, like, you know, when should an actor like quit or give up or like, you know, or keep going or something. He's like, the only way that's guaranteed that you won't get somewhere is if you quit. So, you know, you just got to keep going. You miss 100%
of the shots you don't take. Like
exactly.
You just got to take that shot, you know.
You know, yeah, but no, I love that. And I'm sure a lot of people need to hear that too. Because especially in these times, like I feel like a lot of people are feeling incapable. of like where their lives are going or just society in general. So I think people need to hear that for
And
sure.
also, like, for me, one thing I do believe is every no is just a battery in my back. Like, that's it, because,
Mm,
like, people are gonna tell you no. Like, if you think every door you knock on is gonna be like a yes. I remember last year when I started doing interviews, there's a particular rap artist. He's very, like, he's not like mainstream. He's like underground, but he's popping. And I
mm-hmm,
reached out to his team, and they told me, they're like, this was November last year. Like,
mm-hmm,
sorry, you're not relevant enough, you know?
mm,
And like, at that point, I could have just gone and like sulked and been like, it would never happen. I would never go for
yeah.
anything. But like, this, like, I just told myself, you know what? That's a battery in my back. I guarantee you be back in a year. And in less than a
Mm-hmm.
year, the artist himself like hit
They
me up.
reached
I was
out.
like,
That's
hi,
fire.
like, I'd love you to possibly. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah. No,
so
that's awesome
yeah,
though. Full
like,
circle moment.
delay is just not denial. Like, you just have to believe, even if
Mm,
it takes some time, it's still gonna be yours. You just have to believe it.
absolutely. Well, Elsie, I want to say
Yeah.
I really appreciate you
Thank
coming
you.
on here and talking with me today. Like this one was amazing. I loved it. And I'm just gonna, leave this open for you real quick to say what you gotta say, promote what you gotta promote, anything like that.
Man, thank you to everyone that's been supporting me, because you literally don't have to. So
Yeah.
thank you to everyone that's just watching. I'm going back into putting out my original content. So look out for a lot of exciting content pieces from me coming. Just watch out for that. I have a lot of exciting YouTube videos like in the works right now. Also TikTok,
Nice.
Instagram Reels. Just follow me on every platform, because I'm gonna have something different I'd offer individually for every platform that I have. And yeah, just thank you for riding with me. Like I said, you don't even have to. So I appreciate it. I don't take it for
Awesome.
granted.
And I will have your links up on all the descriptions everywhere where I'm
Thank
putting
you.
this. And yeah, y'all, until next time, we'll see you.
All right. Bye.